Alright, in this video I'm going to go over which messaging platforms I use, why I use them, and go over the pros and cons of each of them. And you can sort of decide for yourself which ones that you may or may not want to use. I don't use only the platforms that I'm going to talk about in this video, at least not in depth, because there are just certain messaging apps that I can't get away from, whether it's due to family or work or things like that. So these are just the ones that I prefer to use and the ones that I would recommend to anyone out there who's maybe looking to switch to a different messaging platform. So the two messaging platforms that I use are Signal and Discord, and I would use Telegram if Signal ceased to exist, but since Signal exists, I don't need to use Telegram. So is Signal worth using, and if it is worth using, then what makes it worthwhile for you to use? And to be honest, the best answer that I can give for Signal is that it's not WhatsApp, which means it's not owned by Meta. So when you're using it, you don't have to worry about this guy staring down your soul every time you send a message. So the main thing that Signal had going for me when I first started using it is that people who I would normally talk to on, say, Messenger were already on Signal. So it was an easy switch for me. But for most people, this isn't the case where, you have everyone already on it and you can just join it and you don't have to convince people to join it when they're not on it already, which is the unfortunate reality of using Signal, is that you would have to pretty much convince anyone to so-called switch over to it if you want to talk to them on it. Which brings me to the main reason why most people who use Signal use it, and the second unfortunate reality with using Signal, which is that their privacy and encryption are kind of known amongst the privacy community for messaging platforms. But the unfortunate reality is that nobody gives a about privacy. And the third unfortunate reality with using Signal is that their developer team is really small, so they'll be pushing out updates for Signal a lot slower compared to other messaging platforms, and I can just give you a quick example of this. Back in 2015, a request was made to the Signal developers to implement the ability to add people by username. And still, to the recording of this date, which is Q3 2023, it still has not been implemented, and I'm hoping that this feature will be implemented by the end of this year, fingers crossed. But it just goes to show that it's been upwards of 8 years now, and this seemingly simple request has yet to be fulfilled, while Telegram has had it since almost a very long time already. So that's just one example of how Signal is a little bit behind in terms of features. I mean, Signal isn't for everyone, but I would still recommend it, I guess, because privacy. Yeah. Alright, let's move on to Discord, which I can make a much stronger case for using. So before I get to the pros and cons of Discord, I wanted to just clear up a misconception that a lot of people who don't use Discord seem to have, and that is that you need to be a gamer to use it, or you need to be a gamer to have it be useful, and that's just not the case. I know plenty of people who use Discord and they don't play games. Now, granted that it is very useful for gaming, but you simply do not have to be a gamer to utilize Discord. It is useful in several ways that don't involve gaming. I'm not going to go over every single thing that makes Discord good, because this video would just take too long. But I think that for you to decide if you want to use it and to decide if the features are worth using, you should just get it yourself and see for yourself if you like using it, or if you just want to install it and not use it Ultimately, I mean, I'll still go over a couple of the bigger reasons why I use it and why most people use it, but like I said, it's better for you to just decide for yourself by using it yourself. So first things first, Discord is open sourced. I'm just kidding, it's not open source, but I mean, most people don't give a shit about open source software anyways. But really the best thing about Discord for me is that you can add people by username instead of adding them by, for example, a phone number. But for you, the best thing about Discord will probably be the ability to delete a message anytime you want. And I think this is something that Discord has over pretty much most of other messaging platforms, is that you can delete messages whenever you want rather than say like at a specific time or after a specific set of time. You don't need to worry about that. I'm only going to go over one more thing that makes Discord great, because I don't want this video to go on forever. And then after I talk about that, you can decide for yourself if you want to try it out and things like that. But the big thing that I want to point out is that you can share your screen with anyone you want, and that's kind of why it's really big for gamers, is because you can share any game that you want pretty much, and other people can watch what you're playing. But you can share your screen, you can watch a movie and watch anything that you want from another person's screen, and it just makes things a lot more convenient, especially when there are not many other platforms that have the ability to do so. I haven't made any negative points about Discord, so I will make one just so that this video doesn't seem biased. So Discord is not super popular, so getting people to use it is probably a hassle for if you're trying to convince someone to use it. That's gonna be it for this video, and just convince people to use Signal or Discord. I mean, it can't be that hard, right?